She slid the document across the kitchen table like it was nothing. A pen on top. Her eyes steady, almost bored. Sign it, Derek. The house goes to me, or I walk out that door tonight. I looked at the paper. Then I looked at her. And I thought one thing. She has no idea I've been sitting on something for 3 weeks. I reached under the table. Not for her document. I placed a different envelope flat on the wood between us. She laughed. She actually laughed. That was the last mistake she ever made. My name is Caleb. I'm 34 years old, a mid-level structural engineer at a regional construction firm. I didn't grow up with money or connections. Everything I have, I built through night classes and years of overtime. When I married Renee 7 years ago, I believed we were partners. 2 people building something real together. I wasn't flashy. I wasn't loud. But I was always 3 steps ahead, and she never noticed. You ever been the steady one that everyone assumed was easy to fool? The one who keeps showing up, keeps paying the bills, keeps his mouth shut, and gets treated like furniture? If that's you, hit subscribe. This community is built for people who play the long game. Drop a comment below. Have you ever had to stay quiet while someone underestimated you? I'm reading every single one. Click hype. Let's go. It started about 6 months before that kitchen table moment. Renee started pulling away. Not all at once. It was small things at first. She'd turn her phone face down when I walked into the room. She'd come home 40 minutes late and give no explanation. She'd smile at her screen in a way she hadn't smiled at me in years. I didn't say a word. I started watching. I kept a small notebook in my work bag, and I wrote things down. Dates. Times. Amounts. Patterns. Then one evening, I was walking down the hallway toward the kitchen, and I heard her voice, low and careful, coming from behind the bedroom door. He'll never fight it. He doesn't have the stomach for it. I stopped walking. I stood completely still. She was talking about the house. About me. She didn't know I was 5 feet away. I went back to the living room, sat down, and opened my laptop like I hadn't heard a thing. But that night, while she slept, I went into our shared cloud storage looking for a household warranty document. I found something else instead. A folder. Labeled Exit Plan. It was dated 8 months ago. Inside that folder was a timeline of steps. A list of our assets. Screenshots of our joint account. And text messages between Renee and a man named Joel, discussing, in plain language, once the house is transferred. She'd been consulting a separate attorney for 4 months. She had told that attorney that I contributed minimally to the household. I had been paying 80% of the mortgage for 6 full years. I closed the laptop slowly. She hadn't just stopped loving me. She had been managing me like a transaction. Like a line item to be cleared before moving on. That night I made one quiet phone call. I called my college friend who became a family law attorney, and I asked him to meet me for coffee that week. What happened over the next 3 months was a kind of slow, deliberate unraveling. Not mine. Hers. The first thing I noticed was the money. Small withdrawals from our joint account. 200 here. 500 there. Moved somewhere I wasn't supposed to see. When I gently brought it up one evening, Renee didn't even look up from her phone. I'm just organizing. You wouldn't understand finances anyway. I wrote the amount down in my notebook. I said nothing else. Then came the social erasure. Renee stopped including me in gatherings with our mutual friends. She told people I was too busy with work, or that I was going through something. I didn't find out about her sister's birthday dinner until I saw a photo posted online. My own name was being quietly removed from the life we had built together, like a word being edited out of a sentence. But the moment that cut deepest came at a family dinner. Both our families were there. Renee's mother asked about a home renovation decision, and Renee, without blinking, turned to the table and said, "Caleb's not really a decision maker. I handle everything important." The table went quiet. My own mother looked away. She didn't know what to say. I smiled. I excused myself to refill my glass. And standing alone in that kitchen, listening to the low hum of conversation in the next room, I pulled out my phone and sent a message to my attorney friend. 3 words. We're ready. Start. What none of them knew was this. I had been collecting for months. The notebook wasn't just observations. It was a documented record. Dates of transfers. Printed account statements. Screenshots. Call logs. And when I dug deeper into Joel's connection to Renee's messages, I found something even more interesting. He was a business partner of her brother. And money had moved between them in ways that touched our joint marital account. This wasn't just a divorce anymore. I didn't just have divorce papers. I had a paper trail that told a story no attorney could ignore. I just needed the right moment, and she was about to hand it. A few months earlier, I had reached out to Raymond. He was a senior partner at a law firm, someone I'd helped navigate a construction contract dispute 3 years back. We'd stayed in touch. He wasn't my official attorney, but I trusted his judgment completely. He reviewed everything I'd gathered. He sat across from me at a small conference table, turned the last page over, and looked up. "Caleb," he said, "what you have here isn't just leverage. It's a case." He connected me with the right family law specialist that same week. Meanwhile, Renee grew bolder. She started redecorating rooms in the house, telling her sister it would need fresh energy once things changed. Her brother began dropping comments at family events, smug and certain. "Renee's going to be fine. She planned ahead, she's smart." They all assumed I would fold. They had watched me stay silent for months and decided that patience was the same thing as weakness. Then came the kitchen table. Renee slid the house transfer document toward me. Pen on top. That calm, almost pitying look on her face. I reached under the table and placed a different envelope flat on the wood. Inside it were divorce papers. Already signed. Already dated. 3 days prior. Her expression changed for the first time in months. "You can't," she said. "You wouldn't." "I already did," I told her. 2 days later, we were in an attorney's office for the first formal proceeding. Renee's lawyer stood up and began presenting the house transfer argument, composed and confident. Then Caleb's attorney opened a file. He read calmly. The unauthorized transfers from the joint account. The exit plan folder and its timestamps. The communications between Renee and Joel that touched marital funds in ways that raised serious legal questions. Renee's attorney asked for a recess. In the hallway, she grabbed my arm. Her voice was low, shaking slightly. "Where did you get all of that?" I looked at her and said, "You told people I don't understand finances." Joel's involvement triggered a secondary inquiry into the financial movements connected to the case. The house transfer claim collapsed entirely. There was nothing left to argue. The room was silent when we returned. I straightened my jacket and sat back down. The court found Renee's transfer attempts legally improper. The house stayed with me. The financial details surfaced through court records, and the story spread quickly through the social circle we had once shared. Joel stopped returning calls. Her brother went quiet at family events. The carefully constructed version of me that Renee had been presenting to the world didn't survive contact with the actual evidence. 6 months later, I sold the house on my own terms. I relocated to a city I had always wanted to live in, one I had mentioned to Renee once, and she had laughed off as unrealistic. I remember standing in my new apartment the first evening, listening to the sound of an unfamiliar street below, and feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Room to breathe. She thought silence meant I had nothing. But I was never quiet because I was weak. I was quiet because I was building the case she never saw coming. If someone in your life ever tried to quietly move things out from under you while pretending everything was fine, you know exactly how that feels. You know the specific exhaustion of watching it happen and choosing not to react yet. Subscribe to this channel. This community is for people who keep receipts and play the long game. Tell me in the comments. Have you ever had to stay silent while you built your case? I want to hear it. Click hype to help this story reach every person who has ever been underestimated by someone they trusted. Did this story hit home? Let me know by liking the video and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Click hype to help this story find others who have felt exactly the same way. Your support makes a real difference, and I read every single comment. Thank you for being here.